Who is going to drive it first?
It's going to be a fight. There may be a divorce.
There it is, just there. Over there. I don't know how well you can see it. This is a pretty special day for us. I know it's just picking up a car, but it's more than that for us. And because it is a Y62, it's not just because it's a Y62, this is a really big deal for us because we had to give up a Y62 to get this car. And that was our dream car, our STL that we had for 6 years, built it up. You would have seen it on YouTube, loved it. But we wanted, and this is why it's a little bit emotional, we had to sell that to fund a Series 5 front bar design. So the only way that we could afford to put this order in for all the Series 5 front bars was to sell our car, refinance part of our house, empty all the ashtrays, look under the couch, go and scrape up every cent we could find and place the order months and months and months ago for these Series 5 bars that have just landed. And then COVID happened and like it's getting delayed even further, and all our money has been tied up until the Series 5 bars arrived, get delivered and paid for, and then we could pick this thing up. So we've been waiting for so long, and I know everyone's been waiting for their Series 5s and their bars and everything, but like we've had a vested interest, so we're going to go and pick up our new car. Here we go.
Yep, let's do it.
Now, we're in Whyalla, which is a 4-hour drive from Adelaide. Why did we drive 4 hours to pick up this car? Well, probably could have got one from anywhere. There's dealers ringing me left, right and centre to try and sell the things to me. But Whyalla Nissan, they just made life so easy. Paul Macca basically just said, what colour do you want? All right, we'll get it in for you. Done. It was as easy as that. So I'm giving big thumbs up to Whyalla Nissan. They definitely helped me out, and I'm going to see it now. I'm going to see it. Here we go. I'm heading over. There she is. Holy shit balls, it looks good. How sexy is that? Oh my god. I never doubted this colour for a second.
It's got a bow!
Just worried about the bow. Look at the colour. That is amazing, that colour.
It is never ever going to be this clean
This is
again.
the cleanest it will ever be. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the build. Alright, this car has been in my driveway for about 40 minutes now, and that's 40 minutes too long without modifying it. I've gone to the yard and got all the stuff I want to start doing, but this video is to show you what you should do as soon as you get your patrol. Like the first thing, first day, you got to fix this stuff because it will drive you nuts. Alright, number one, this is stupid. Why does it have to beep when you lock the car? Alright, so I'll show you how to fix this on the keys. Actually, I'll show you another little trick too. If the car's locked, that is so annoying. Press and hold the unlock button and watch what the windows do. So if it's a hot day, that will unlock, put down all of your windows. But there's a free tip for you. What I do want to show you is how to get rid of that beep. Press and hold both the lock and unlock buttons at the same time for 3 seconds, and your indicators will flash, the sequential indicators, and then no noise. Why do they give them to you like this? Next one is the stupid litres per kilometre. No one talks about litres per kilometre, so I'll show you how to do that. So this little button up here, toggle to options, unit, settings, change it from that to that. All of a sudden, you can see I've just been sitting here idling for a while. Anyway, now the other important stuff. especially for the TIL owners, because they are so power hungry, these vehicles, they just drain your battery, and the smart alternator will, like as soon as you start driving, it drops down to 12 volt. If your kids dare watch a movie in the back while you're parked getting you know, dinner or something like that, it'll flatten your battery. So you need to disconnect the shunt. I've got another video how to do that, I'll put it up here, but if you want your battery to last more than 12 months, that's what you have to do. It's only my mum. She doesn't watch my movies. Alright, next. I'm not going to disconnect that smart shunt because of this little beauty. So, these are the new DCF's lithium start batteries, and look how light they are. I'm not a strong guy. So they're about under 15 kilos, half the weight. We want to get all the weight out of the front axle. I'm not going to disconnect the smart shunt because that's going to sort of act like my battery or alternator regulator. So I'm going to leave that in place, and that will work good for lithium. If you're not doing lithium, I would take it out. Next, I'm going to fix the locker problem. Again, another Nissan issue. That's going in because the locker in these things are stupid, and I want to go out wheeling on Sunday. So we're going to put the locker override in the back. That'll fix that. They've fixed most of that exterior lights. I'm really happy about that. They're pretty good. None of them are changeable anyway because they're on circuit boards, so we just have to put up with the reversing lights, but they're not bad. But the interior lights are still like some candles from a kid's birthday cake. They're horrible, incandescent lights, honestly, Nissan. So we're going to swap them out with the LED ones, the Cogears. And then I've noticed, like, this is my second patrol, the last one actually felt quicker. It's because it had diff gears and a tune, most likely, but it was running big tyres. But I swear my old Series 1 was quicker than this, from say 0 to 60 kilometers an hour. The thing roars after 100. So I'm going to go straight for one of these little jobbies, the S-Drive throttle controllers. It does work on a TIL Series 5 only. It does not work on a Series 1 to 4 TIL, sadly. But that's going to go in, and hopefully that'll give it a bit more of a pep. Doesn't add any power. I'm not saying it does, but it just delivers it earlier. It makes it more fun to drive. So that's going in too. Other little goodies is these sand grabber mats. So my last car got totally trashed by the kids. The Nissan rubber mats, they don't cover around and you get sand all through your car. So I'm going to try these sand grabbers out. Very bright blue. And then I think then I can take it. Then it can live in my garage. Until this is done, it's not even coming in the garage. And here we are again. Through the magic of YouTube, we now have a roof rack, and actually I'll show you. Hang on. Alright, last night was a bit of a late one, so we didn't video it, but we now have the roof rack on. We've got the Dachi 270 awning on, and that ginormous, I don't know if you can see it, solar panel up there. So today's challenge is to get into some of this other gear. So we've got the DCS battery that we're going to put in or replace the start battery, plus all the other Victron little bits and bobs that go with that. So there's a smart shunt and cutout. If we get time, we'll try and get this solar panel wired up. Gone and got the uni lugs to connect the battery up with. And again, this is like the first fix, or getting ready to pull this car apart, we'll put the locker override kit in, Red Arc Tow Pro, and just run some general cables front to back of this car so we can sort of get ready for that next stage. Mark and I are having a bit of a chat about the smart shunt. I'll show you what that smart shunt is. It's basically that. If you want to disconnect it, you just pull that grey cable off and it doesn't work anymore. Because with the Y62s and all the smart alternator sort of devices, cars out there, it'll charge for the first 5 minutes at, I don't know, 14.4 volts, and then it says to save fuel we'll turn the alternator off, and then it'll drop down to 12.1 because that's pretty much all you need to start the car. Not good for the battery, especially TILs, because they're quite electricity hungry, and I've heard so many TIL owners say that they've bought the car, first battery only lasts 12 months. pull the shunt off, and then it'll last another 4 years. So if I was going to put a lead acid, keep the lead acid battery, absolutely without a doubt I'd be pulling that shunt, also so you can charge your auxiliary batteries and that sort of thing. But we're doing a lithium battery, so lithium ion, it's kind of a different story. My first thought was maybe we should leave the smart alternator in place, because it will kind of act like a charger, because we're not using a dedicated charger for the battery, it's just straight off the alternator. Thinking about that a little bit further, it will give it like 5 minutes of 14.4, then it's going to try to drop it down to 12.1, and like 12.1 is probably like 20% or less than 20% of the full lithium power. So yeah, that's actually not going to work. We're going to just disconnect the shunt, run it at 14.4 and pump as much into that battery as we can. Here's our DCS 80 Extreme. This is the one that is for starting your car. It even says it on the top there. You can pause and read that if you can be bothered. But looking at the start battery of the Y62 and the DCS 80 Extreme, they're like for like. Even to the point where Nissan have got this little like stubby holder thing for the battery now. I guess that's to like help heat and that sort of thing. So it's, I don't know, protects it a bit of an insulator. But this fits straight on. So look at that, like for like. This is going to be pretty easy, although we want to have the terminals that way. Now of course these terminals aren't going to work because you can't really bolt your alternator to that very easily. So we've gone and got ourselves some uni-lug terminals. That's these little jobbies. So we can bolt that into the pole of the battery, and then it turns it into like a normal battery, I suppose. Beauty about this too, you need this 80 amp fuse to run the car, but then it gives us a spare lug to run all of our other accessories. Good little bit of kit that. Make sure you get them. That's what the box looks like. Alright, so that's a uni-lug positive terminal that goes onto this little contraption here, the fuse, but, oh, bad camera angle, the V in here isn't enough to get around this section down here, so we had to file it out. So just note that that needs to be done. Oh man, it's really raining now. We should have just gone in just a little bit further. Anyway, let's talk about this stuff. So we've got solar controller, we've got the smart shunt and the smart battery protect. All of this is the Victron gear. Got it from Home at 12 volt. They're always very handy with this sort of stuff. So this is going to shut, well, there's a whole app to how to use this. I'll go do a little demo. But the idea is we're going to set this up as like a relay, and it's going to shut off at 12.0 volts. So that should be just enough to start the car, but it will turn all our accessories off. So all our accessories will go, that'll go to the battery, and then that will go to all the accessories to the back of the car. Next, we've got this smart shunt. This goes on the earth, and this will tell us what current and voltage and all that sort of thing is coming through the battery. Now the BMS, the battery management system in the lithium battery, does this also. So this gives me an opportunity to do two. So if I want to have a look at total current draw from the battery, I'll look at the DCS app. But if I want to have a look at what just my accessories are drawing, I can go to the Victron Smart Shunt app and have a look at that. Here's a little demo too. I reckon we're going to put this at the back of the car, probably behind the fridge, and that's where most of my accessories are going to come out. Lastly, we've got the solar controller. Again, this is a Victron product. I'm not sponsored in any way. I paid my own money for all this stuff, but I just like this gear. So that will probably go behind the fridge as well, and we're going to run cable from the solar panel. I reckon through here. We'll bring the cable out the back of the, hang on, we'll bring the cable out the back of the roof rack, come down here into this grommet, and then into the car that way. I've done it before coming through the A pillar, but I must admit I made a mess of pulling these metal clips off last time, so I don't want to do that. And this panel here, the A-pillar is worth, last time it was 250 bucks from Nissan. I'm just going to leave it on there. So we're going to go through the back, probably run some other switch, like a 7-core trailer wire to the back, just so we've got some other switching if need be. So there'll be power to the top going up, there'll be solar coming down, and then the 7 switching wires. So I thought it'd be interesting what the weight of these batteries are. So first up on the scales, we have the lead acid from Nissan coming in at 20.3 kilos. You can see that. Next we have DCS with its stubby holder. $13.4. Bit of weight saving already. That's always a good thing for a Y62. Alright, I'll squat down here. This locker override kit from Kogia, it really couldn't be any simpler. This is the ECU at the back which controls the Nissan locker, the rear locker. It's annoying. The lock, if you've used it before, most of the time you press the button to like use the locker before you get to the obstacle. The dash starts flashing at you. By the time you've actually got over the obstacle, then it kicks in. This little baby, press the button, it goes around the ECU straight to the solenoid on the diff. So locker on means locker on. Locker off means locker off. It's as simple as that, opposed to this computer trying to work out how to do it for you. Easy install. Hardest bit is getting the trim off. Once you got the trim off, it's just a little screwdriver there. Pull that out. This goes in series, so you just put one end in here, right way around. The right way around. And then like that. So that's installed. We'll make it a bit neater, we'll bolt it up, there's a little bolt kit that comes with it. And then we've got another little switch. This hides in the back rear quarter, and basically it's got a little red dot on there too to say if it's on or off. That's in factory locker position, so the button on the center console to work in the way Nissan wanted it, put it down and it goes straight to the solenoid and bypasses this computer. We want it like that. Yeah. Alright, locker override kit is in. And then they've got this little switch. I'll show you from the back just so you can see it. So that's the locker switch on and off for factory or the other way. It hides just here. And if you need to access it, you just basically get a flat head and go through the vents to flick it up and down. So it's specifically put out of the way, a little bit hidden maybe so Nissan can't see it. I've mounted it as high as possible, and these little brackets are 3D printed. Kerry's done a really good job with this kit. And reason I've done it as high as possible is because I'm going to have some drawers in here. So I want to be able to, access. Alright, this side's all back together. That's all done. Now, it's this side. Look at that mess. So just for curiosity, what is all this stuff? This is your aircon down here. This is, you can put like a screwdriver Allen key in here actually and change it between hot and cold manually. That's what that does. This is the aircon for the back, like the third row and everything, back of the car. That's the Bose amplifier just there, if you've got a TIL. But we're running some big cable now to the back of the car. One pair here is going to be for an Anderson plug, so to go to your caravan or even for solar charging. And then there's another one coming straight from the battery back to here, which will be for all the accessories inside the car. Now, lastly, I'm starting to chase this down up here. This is how I reckon I'm going to get my solar through. So I'll just, from the solar panel, up here, come into this grommet somehow, down here, around there, and to the solar controller. That's the plan. Let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, through nothing short of a miracle, we end up getting this. This is the cable we're using, 7 core, 4mm, through this grommet. It's like a snake eating a goat. Slit the grommet on the other side, get it through here, but so it doesn't pinch, we're going to cut the sheath off of here, flatten it out and reheat shrink it flat, and then the aim is to follow it. You can see it here up this black bit of plastic and then come into the roof rack and off we go. I would warn you, it's not an easy task, that part, so before you dive in. But now I'm going to have 7 core wire on my roof to do whatever I want with in the future. This is how this turned out. Do you want to do the honours and press the button, Mark? So this cable has been flattened out, and there's actually like air gap between here, so it's not touching, and that'll just follow itself up, go to the roof rack, and then we'll terminate, put a junction box over here for our power and everything. Sweet! Alright, today's finished. We got a fair bit done actually. Well, Mark did, just over here. I watched. But we got all the first fixing done with cables run front to back, lithium battery in, a few things bolted in, the smart shunt and other bits and pieces. But we're at the point where we're going to start the car and see what's going on. I've got recording my screen on here so you can see the app that's running at the same time. So first of all, I'm going to have a look at this DCS battery and to see what's going on. And it's saying we're at 52% capacity of the lithium battery, because I've purposely been punishing the battery to see like how much I can draw out of it. So when I start the car in a minute, we can see, oh wow, amazing, we're pulling this many amps. So I'm going to start the car, and remembering this is a TIL, so it's very electricity thirsty. So I'm going to press the start button once, or not. Let's take that again. You got your foot on the brake, do you?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do that one more time. Okay, we're just going to put accessories on. And I've noticed this Series 5 starts up slower than my old Series 1 does. Anyway, so it's drawing 8.3 amps. I'm going to press it one more time, so I press start. And now we're on accessories. And I'm going to start like turning everything on to see how much this car draws. So with the fridge on, it's at 20 amps. But what else can we press? Turn all the aircon on. Yeah, 24. Let's shut the sunroof. 30 amps. 41 amps. These things could really, if we turn the stereo on, all that sort of stuff, it would be even worse. So she's all, the battery's going through a bit of hurt now. Alright, now what we're about to do is press the start button, and we're going to see if the magic of connecting a lithium battery to the alternator is all worth it. Alright, fire away. Alright, it was drawing minus 40. Now it's charging at 100, I saw 122 briefly. So it's charging at 100 amps. That's pretty impressive, pumping into the battery. I'm going to go for a drive in a minute, and it's about a 25-minute drive to get home from where I am, and I'm going to see, yeah, how much is charged up. So we're at 53% now. I'm going to turn it off and drive home, and then we'll see how much power is left, or how charged it is. Slight change in plan. Actually, I'm going to punish this battery, and I'm going to drain it as much as I can. So we're just sitting here in the garage with every aircon, fridge running, everything, pulling 38 amps out of this battery. I'm going to just see how low I can get it. I might just do this for 10-20 minutes, and if we can get it down to, you know, that 12.0 volts, then we'll see if we can start the car. Because if this works, this is going to work, is it? I don't think I'm going to need a dual battery. Alright, we've probably been sitting here about 20 minutes, I reckon, and we've got everything running. I've got the app going again, so we'll have a look at the battery. It's had a fair punishing, I'd say. Oh, just it'll refresh in a second. So it's at 17%, which is saying 12.88 volts. That's pretty amazing. I thought it would have been lower than that. So I probably don't want to run it much lower than 17%. The big question now is, 1, will it start? And 2, what current will it draw when we start? So first of all, I'm just going to give it the best chance here. I'm going to turn everything off. 16%. Alright, let's put our foot on the brake and start it. Well, it started. No problems there. It's charging at 119 amps. 20. I'm happy with that. Alright, so now we're going to go from 17% capacity. I'm going to drive home, it's about 25 minutes, and I'll show you again how much it charged in 25 minutes. Right, just drove home, and to be fair, there was some waiting around and stuffing around going on. I reckon I probably idled for 20-30 minutes, and I was watching the app as I was waiting, and it started charging the battery at 110 amps, and then probably by about 20-25 minutes it was only charging at like 56 amps, and then I had a bit of play around and thought, oh, I might accelerate. So I went and put my foot on the accelerator, held it at 2000 RPMs, and it went back up to 110 amps charging. I wish I did that at the start to see if I could get even more charge into the battery. So yeah, definitely 2000 up gives you more juice into the battery. Now, then I drove another probably 25 minutes home, so I reckon it's been about, I don't know, 50 minutes to an hour, and we'll have a look at what the DCS app is doing now, right here, and yeah, it's at 90% capacity, so it went from under 20 back up to 90 within an hour, and it says current 0, and I was looking at the voltage, it was doing something weird with the voltage, but I think basically the best this car can do, charging straight off of the alternator, is to get it back to 14 point something volts. So it doesn't know that it's a lithium battery, and it can probably get charged up to 14.8, 49, something like that. So this, I get the feeling that probably 90% from the engine is all it's ever going to be, or around that, which is fine, that's okay. I've got the solar panel on the roof, so that will get it to 100%. But even still, basically, the engine, alternator, got it from sub 20%, basically as much as it can do within an hour. That's freaking awesome. Like, even to the point where I could get a 2 kilowatt inverter and run it off with the car running, and that will run my caravan air conditioner. I'm just really chuffed by this thing. I think these lithium start batteries are a total game changer. It'll be interesting to see how it goes under the bonnet with the heat of a V8 petrol. That's probably my only query about it all, but I'm here to test this stuff. We'll see how it goes. But off the bat, I'm not even gonna worry about another battery. Winching will be the next test. Who knows? Who knows how quick that's going to happen. I'm going to have a bar and winch on here probably within a week or two, and then we'll go off and do some cool trips and test that out as well. So yeah, keep tuned. Press that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll see everything else that we're going to do with this car. See you next time on YouTube. Yeah.